Welcome to medieval food in your kitchen.
Today we're making two kinds of fritters, one sweet and one savory. These recipes come from the Forme of Cury, which is a cookbook compiled for the household of King Richard II of England in the 14th century.
The ingredients we are using today we acquired locally and are for the most part seasonal. While we got these ingredients in winter in the Pacific Northwest, we tried our best to select the ingredients that would be available in the 14th century in Europe while staying true to the recipes.
We should note that all of these ingredients were acquired at our local grocery store or picked from the yard. Now on to the recipes.
I'm Matilda, this is my Slattern Gersvinda, and we're cooking some fritters of herbs in medieval food in your kitchen. The recipe we're doing today is Fritter of Herbs, or Fritter of Herbs. This comes from the Forme of Cury, which is a 14th century English cookbook. So the recipe is: take good herbs, grind them and muddle them with flour and water and a little zest and salt, and fry them in oil, and eat them with clear honey. So we're going to take some herbs, we're going to chop them and grind them up, and we're going to mix them with flour and water, and we're going to add some yeast that we've already started growing with some honey, and some salt, and we're going to form that into a fritter, and then we're going to fry it up. What we're first going to do to mix is we're going to take a bunch of flour, and we're going to add it here into the bowl with some water, some good clear water, and we have yeast that we've grown up with some honey. I'm going to add some of that in, and we're going to mix this together until we get to a good consistency. And we're going to add in a bunch of herbs. What we have here is parsley and sage and rosemary and marjoram. And what else, girls? Thyme. We're going to add in some herbs with this. Do you want to come over and film over the top? So we're making sort of a yeast dough here. We're not going to let it rise though. We're going to form them into patties. And then we're going to fry this in oil, and then once they're fried, we will eat them. So here we have our fritters, and we actually pat them out till they're like a thin little pancake. They will fry better this way than if you have a thick ball of dough. And then we're going to add them to the hot oil. And they're going to cook about a minute or so. You're going to flip them as they get darker. And you want them, the oil to be at a temperature that they don't turn into a hard little hockey puck, but that they kind of puff up nicely and turn golden brown. And a little bit of clear honey. Yum. So good. You want one?
Rashews of Fruit. Take fig and raisins and pick them and wash them in wine. Grind them with apples and pears, pared and picked clean. Do thereto good powders and whole spices. Make balls thereof and fry in oil and serve them. This is medieval food in your kitchen. I'm Keitha, and we are making Rashews of Fruit, which are otherwise known as deep fried fruit fritters. So the first thing we're going to do is take some chopped apples and pears and grind them in a mortar. And these need to be ground fairly fine, and when they are done, they should look roughly like applesauce. So as we get the fruit totally ground,
I'm gonna pull your hand up for a second.
you're then going to, and I've already ground a large amount of it so that I have this dish over here of ground fruits. And to it I'm going to add my dried fruits. And my dried fruits are made up of figs and raisins, which have been soaked in red wine. So the figs and raisins that have been soaked in red wine are going to be added to the mortar and pestle. And then ground together with the fruit. And as you're grinding these, they're going to start to turn into a paste. And when they start to turn into a paste, we are going to add what the recipe refers to as good powders, which are various spices. We have chosen to use cinnamon, cloves, nutmeg, and some white sugar today.
And white flour.
Which is this mix. We're going to put some of that in, and then we're also going to add some white flour in order to hold this paste together, because we need to deep fry it, and otherwise it doesn't really stay together. Finish grinding them when they are a fairly homogeneous paste. Then we're going to make them into balls as per the recipe. And each one is going to be coated in flour. And this is a detail not included in the recipe, but rather assumed. If you're going to fry something, you must make it fryable. So we've prepared a whole dish of these, and my assistant, Kirvinda, is going to help us fry them in hot oil. Each one needs to go in individually, or otherwise they stick together. And we used vegetable oil, so these are fried until they are golden brown. Which takes approximately 1 minute. And when they come out, they should be golden brown and crispy on the outside and soft and yummy on the inside. Rashews of Fruit. So a few words of caution about your oil temperature. If you have the ideal oil temperature, then what you get out are these nice uniformly brown, lovely little balls that are kind of golden and they're nice and crispy on the outside. If your oil is too cool, then what you get out is a nice greasy mess that won't hold together in a ball. And if your oil is too hot, what you get out is a lovely little cinder that, while yummy on the inside, is no good to eat on the outside. So make sure that you have a good oil temperature. This being medieval cooking, we aren't actually using a thermometer. So obviously we found our correct temperature by trial and error.